how do you think your family's Sicilian background informed your life growing up in Illinois? Like, how did that influence your life growing up?
Well, my father was born and raised in Sicily. He came to the United States when he was 15 years old, and my mother is born and raised in Chicago. So, kind of an interesting dynamic growing up where my father kind of brought this old school, old world mentality to the United States and kind of kept that. And then I also had a mother who, was born and raised in the United States and was, obviously more Americanized than my father. But my father is unique in the sense that he is a hairstylist and worked at a hair salon and still does. Not a barber. He does women's hair, and he was kind of a hip. Most immigrants tend to especially in the Italian community, they either own a restaurant or in construction, or they do certain things career-wise, and it's just odd that I have like a straight hairdresser plot, that I used to borrow his clothes growing up. So it was unique in the sense that you don't typically see that in immigrant parents where they're like really hip and they're, my father was giving me hairspray and gel when I was 12. So it informed my upbringing in the sense that I had kind of the best of both worlds, an immigrant father and a kind of a native mother who grew up in the United States. So, and that was kind of odd too, because a lot of the friends that I had growing up, they had like both immigrant parents from the old country. They didn't really have, we didn't live in our basement. We didn't have plastic on our furniture. We were a lot more, we went on vacations a lot. We went out to dinner a lot. And that wasn't the case with some of my friends that had Italian parents from the old country, where they stayed home. They made all their meals at home. They didn't really go on vacations. So yeah, I felt like I had the best of both worlds when it came to that.
You made your feature film debut as Johnny in The Green Book, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm like obsessed with it. And you were also obviously in The Irishman. I was wondering how that process was like for you, going from doing stand-up to acting, if that was an easy transition, and what you love about acting.
So those two movies, I had small parts in those movies, so the time required on set wasn't long. I mean, it was like maybe 5 to 7 days. And in both of those movies, I'm working with arguably some of the finest actors of our time. It's not, I couldn't have planned that, to be working with De Niro and Pesci and Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen. It doesn't happen even for actors that do this full time. They don't get those opportunities. And I get back-to-back movies where I'm working with some of the best.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of anxiety because something I don't do on a day-to-day basis. So there's a lot of doubt, can I do this? Can I pull this off? Am I good enough? And for me, it was an adjustment, not so much in those two movies. I just did a movie that I co-wrote, and it's basically centers around my real life. It's a love story between a father and son, and it's loosely based on my life. The father's played by Robert De Niro, and that was 2 months or 6 weeks of shooting in Alabama, where I was in practically every scene, and it was a comedy. And the difference is, in stand-up, obviously, you do something on stage and people laugh. In a movie, no one's laughing because you're shooting a movie. So for me, it was an adjustment because the whole validation of what I'm doing on stage is hearing the laugh. But in the movie, when you don't get the laugh, at least for me, I'm like, is this fun? Is this working? So that was a big adjustment for me. And the amount of time, I mean, you hear this all the time, but, 12, 13 hours a day on set. And, there's a lot of like adjustments and lighting and what have you. So it's a lot of repetition. And for me, I like excitement. And the movie business is not exciting. It's just, it's not stand-up, I'll tell you that.
It's definitely not like the night of the premiere. The night of the premiere is exciting. The rest is just hard work, right?
Yeah, I guess someone said that like 90% of the movie business is not glamorous, but the 10% that is so above and beyond that that's why people keep coming back. Like while you're shooting it, people ask me, how is it? How is it? I go, I have no idea. I have no idea how this movie is until I see it. So yeah, I like acting, but I wouldn't do it full time. It's not my true passion is stand-up comedy.
And my last question is, what does la dolce vita, the sweet life, mean to you?
Family, I guess that's the biggest thing I have in my life that really brings me happiness. It's nothing better than having my family around me during the holidays or whether it's a random Sunday. I think family to me is the best. If you don't have family, to me, you don't got anything. That's